Yes, how is everyone today? I hope everyone is good, and we are here, the physics mindset, as our mission to explore the knowledge, the technical, the engineering, the theoretical, both practical, to you guys, people who are willing to use the principle of the. Don't hesitate to go away, just sit and relax, have your peace, and be at par with us. The physics mindset, our aim is to give you what you didn't know in the fields of electrical, electronics, and solar engineering. I remember, let's review our past episode. We started about current, and I promised you that I will bring voltage. After current, voltage came in. So as I promised that we shall move slowly to reach on the practical parts of installations of the houses, of repair part in electronics, and installation of solar systems. As I promised you that we shall move slowly from current to voltage, then we can switch on to the engineering part, where most of you are waiting for us to go there, electrical mostly. As the team of physics mindset, we are so helpful, and we are glad you're here with us. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about this guy. Which guy? This is the guy who was so humble in his work, in his experimental works. He took time to do his experiments. Okay. As we can see, as we are going to see. Okay? Which experiments? His experiments to explore the process of engineering and technology. The technology you're seeing today, these guys came up with a work, with a lot of experiments. And we're going to see who was this guy. This guy was called Alessandro Giuseppe Antonio Volta. Some people, they don't pronounce the middle name, the Giuseppe Antonio. Those are Italian names. But we say Alessandro Volta to simplify. Alessandro Volta. Okay? Who was this man? This man, let's dig into his lifestyle, how he came up. As you have heard the name Alessandro Volta. Alessandro Giuseppe Antonio Volta. Who was this man? As you have heard, I think of that name, the Volta. This is his last name, the Volta. This guy he was an Italian guy from a humble noble family, but not wealthy. You know, those days, if you are from a noble family, it means your family is wealthy. But this guy, though the family members, his father, the parents, were nobles, but they were not good, like they are not really wealthy, as the history say. He was a Catholic guy. As he was grown up, he was brought up in a Catholic family. Then he never changed. Only he said that though God is there, but electricity is done by God, is invented by human beings. Like the first thing, they thought that electricity will come from animals. Then they did solutions, they did experiments, the physical, they tapped this, they tapped this. They realized that electricity can come out using chemicals or fossils. Which chemicals? This man came up with, before on an introduction, he was an Italian chemist. He studied chemistry. He studied physics. He was very good in those two subjects. plus mathematics. Okay, let's move slowly. Plus mathematics. Then he was in his laboratory. He did a lot of experiments in chemistry and physics. In his experiments, he found out that he can mix the chemical components, the electrolytes. And if you mix electrolytes and you combine with the properties of zinc, or the components of zinc or copper, he later invented an electric battery. By then it was in 1800. Who was there those years? Something like 200 years back, 1800, when he invented the first electric battery, which nowadays we are using. You see this? This is the electric battery. It has a positive and a negative. Okay? Yeah, this is the battery I'm talking about. He invented it with this principle, with the chemicals inside. He mixed the chemicals, as you know, in the laboratory. We are giving a brief history for this Alessandro Volta, the first person to invent a battery. This battery you see, this one, which has a positive, it has a positive terminal and a negative terminal. Negative down, positive is up. The guy realized that if you mix some salty water with the chemicals and you combine the zinc plates, you will eventually test a voltage on both positive and negative. You will realize there is some potential difference, which is the voltage. Okay? All the things, all the power banks, the phones, there is a battery inside. And this battery, this is the guy who found the principle or the first electric battery. He didn't stop there. He went on with his experiments. He again invented methane, which methane is trying to bring up how can we have electricity? How can we have light? How can we find voltage? He didn't know that it is called voltage. This name volt was given to honor him because he's the founder. Okay? He didn't stop there. He came up and invented a chemical, which is a gas, a natural gas, which is called methane. Chemist, you can tell me, and you know the formula of methane. I'm going in summary of his history. So if we need to go into deep, we shall need to calculate the formula of methane. Yeah, methane does, if you go to periodic table, you'll find the number. Yeah, he invented the chemical called methane. And since he invented that thing, and then he invented the first electric battery, all the scientists came up and said, wow, this is really a great work, a great experiment. This man continued and he got an honor from Napoleon Bonaparte in France. Okay? Napoleon Bonaparte in France. You know what Napoleon did to this man? To Alessandro Antonio Volta? After his experiments of electric battery, that we can store electricity in the battery, he was trying to solve the problem. You know, electricity was there before these batteries. Okay? This electricity was shocking. It didn't have controls. Okay? Electricity was there, but there is no control for switching on and off. It used to shock people. People were getting unconsciousness. People were getting shocks. You touch here, you get burnt because of no control. But this guy, the Volta, came in to say, how can we control this power, this electrical, this current? Because it is current which burns, not voltage. Okay? Get the difference. Current is the one which burns someone. Voltage is the pressure which pushes current to burn you. That is the logic behind the current and the voltage. Remember, we first saw in the last episode, we saw about current. Now, what element which pushes the pressure which pushes the current to flow through a cable? Okay, that pressure, it is what we call the voltage. That's why some of the electronic or electrical equipment, there must be they on the technical symbol, on a technical seal, you will see that there is a voltage, and you will see that there is a current. For example, there may be 2 milliamps. Those are milliampere. Those are 2 amps. Those are amperes. That is current. Then they tell you the voltage must be 240 volts. It means 240 volts is the one which is going to push the 2 amperes so that electrons will flow in the cable, in our copper cable. Okay? This is a practical gundi. Now, this pressure which pushes the electrons to move in the cable or an electric conductor or a metal, it is called the voltage. This man did an experiment whereby Napoleon Bonaparte was excited during those times. Napoleon Bonaparte said, I want to invite this man. And Alessandro Volta was really, really, very, very happy. And he used to be with near Napoleon. He used to explain things to Napoleon. Then Napoleon gave him a honor to be the chair of experiments of physics in the University of France. Yeah, it was given him as honor for almost 40 years when he's teaching in the University of France. After there was given also a chair to be the chair of the physics experimenters in the University of Pavia. All this honor because of his experiments and the foundation of the battery. They gave him this honor so that no one came up with these experiments. That's why Alessandro Guspa Antonio Volta was one of the pioneers to find out electricity and power. We are at power. This guy generated methane. He invented methane gas. Methane gas, let me give you an example of biogas. Yes, biogas is used for lighting or generating electricity at home, in our bulbs, using the other gas in septics. That is one of his inventions, that you can invent. There is some gas which you can use to light your homes. This man Volta, Antonio Volta, an Italian chemist and a physicist, who found out that in a septic, in fossils or a decayed component or a decayed natural minerals or wastes, you can get a gas which can be used to light our homes, to light the factories, and to make a lot of works in cooking, heating our homes, powering the factories. All this work was done by him after inventing that methane gas, that when you have an aseptic tank, cover it well. Then after decomposing those decays of the natural minerals, after some time, you will have a methane gas which you can use to light your home, to light the industries, to cook, to heat water heating. After doing these experiments, then Napoleon said, I want to make this man, and I want to give him to be the head of the physics experiments in the University of Pavia. First, he was given to be teaching in the University of France by Napoleon because of his invention, to explain how the battery works, how the battery can store electricity by compiling the plates of zinc, copper, and some electrolytes. Then you can have power inside with those gases inside. Okay, we are together. Let me hope we are at par. And he used to teach a lot of scientists, a lot of students for almost 40 years. Because he started his journey at the age of 16 years in Italy. At the age of 20, they wanted him to go for these Catholic leaders, so that his parents wanted him to be among the Catholic leaders. But he said his interest is not among the Catholic leaders. Though he's born from the Catholic family, he insisted on his inventions, on his experiments. He used to stay a lot of time in laboratory doing chemical practicals in chemistry, mixing chemicals, doing experiments, doing physical experiments, and later on he came up with the first electric battery. And which battery is this, which is having a positive and a negative back here. Okay, and these are the batteries we are using. The same principles in these batteries. They are the same principles in the batteries in the phones, batteries in the power banks, batteries everywhere. The batteries you use in the cars, everywhere. It was a revolution to the new generation of technology. Without this man, these batteries, this power wouldn't have come. Okay? Then let's check on why he was so curious on finding out the principle of these batteries. Because current never had any control. It used to burn people from nowhere. When current is too much, you get burnt. When voltage is too much, you may be shocked. Shock and burning is different. When voltage is too much, when there is voltage, that's when you have a shock. When there is current, you will get burnt. That's why they say electricity has burnt something just because of the high currents. But if they are high voltage, not much effects. But remember, voltage is the one which pushes current, meaning when high voltage is there, just know automatic that there may be high currents. When high voltage are there, sometimes they give you a symbol of HV, high voltage. Just expect also that there is a high current there. Don't temper. Electricity. Let me just give a hint on this. Electricity is fire without smoke. That's the way I can define it. Fire without smoke. You see a cable, relaxed, gentle. It doesn't disturb anyone. With high voltage. Please read the technical symbols. If there is HV and I put a skull with a cross, just know the moment you extend near that cable, near that area, you may become like that symbol. Because that is fire with no smoke. Electricity is fire with no smoke. But if you over-temper it, then you will see fire coming. If you connect it very well, as we shall see how to connect electricity very well, you will never see smoke. But if you tamper with electricity, you will eventually see smoke. And that's the definition of electricity is fire with no smoke. Fire with no smoke, period. Tamper with it, then it will talk with smoke. Either it burns you, or it burns the house, or it burns something, or a gadget, and smoke will come. Okay, that's a hint on electricity. And let's go back to our Alessandro Guspa Antonio Volta. Alessandro Volta. He did a lot of his work, and he retired in 1899, in 1819. Okay, after 1800, he did his work. He did experiments. He at 1800 or 1800, he invented the first electric battery and invented methane gas, which you use as biogas and other. Then in 1819, for almost 19 years or 20 years, then he retired. He retired. As you know, age and a lot of doing experiments. Someone needs to relax. He retired because also of his family. Family needed time. He said, let me relax. Let me retire. And he started growing up the illness. You know, when you get old, you start growing up a lot of things because you didn't give the work. You were too busy. He was too busy to bring up the technology we are having today. Then the illnesses started in 1823. When he has retired, he retired in 1819. In 1823, after like 4 years, he got healed until 1827 on 5th March when he lost his life. And to give him honor on the experiments he did in finding the pressure which pushes current. That pressure, we called it the volts, the voltage, and its unit, its standard unit is called the volt. And that's where we gave honor to this man, Alessandro Volta, who brought the first battery in the world, and which is still on today to run our electronic gadgets. Okay. Before he retired in 1819, he went to his estate in Camnago. It is a place there in Italy. Camnago is a place in Italy. He went there, he retired, then, and that's the place when he breathed his last breath. May his soul rest in peace. The great chemist and physicist we had. And we shall never have anyone like that until today. We are still working all experiments using his principles. Then that estate where he died from, to honor him on the inventions he did, they say this man was so great. Let us call this estate his name. So the estate was Kamnago. Was in the village, in the city of Kamnago. They added Kamnago Vault. Now that estate is called Kamnago Vault. That's where Alessandro Volta is resting to date. Let's look at some of the scientists. A lot of scientists wanted to, they were seeing this thunder resting, the thunder resters. Thunder resters, no, I mean, not thunder resters, the thunder, like that lightning, okay? That lightning used to come during rain time. Now, a lot of scientists wanted to tap. You see this? You see this risking? I call it risking. A lot of physicians, scientists, when the rain started coming, the thunders came. Now, a lot of scientists wanted to risk their life. Wanted to risk their lives by tapping on the thunder. I told this is physics. You are still digging into the foundation of physics. They wanted to tap on the thunder to make electricity. Can you imagine? That thunder is one of the highest voltages. You don't need to tamper with it. As you have seen the effects of thunder. When thunder comes, it destroys houses. If it finds you, it burns you, separates you like in two pieces. Now someone came up, the scientists wanted to tap on those thunder, the lightning. But they ended up realizing that lightning is so dangerous to our lives. You cannot control it. You cannot control it. What we can do is to pave a way, because it comes with no direction. What can we do? When it comes, it has to go somewhere, like the principles of electricity, because lightning also is electricity. Okay? It's electricity itself. Like, I will give you the 3 rules of electricity. Electricity, it always has work that must be done. Okay? And another thing, electricity always flow from high voltages to low voltage points. From high to low voltage points. Okay? And the third point I can give you is electricity always look for the path to travel. Okay? Electricity always look for the path to travel. And which path? Like now giving an example of the thunder lightning. If it comes, it must look, because also it is an electricity, which is either positive and negative charged. It is looking for the path to travel. And this guy wanted to tap, so that they use that thing as electricity. Before, like the beginning, they thought that animals can produce electricity. And this guy, Alessandro Giuseppe Antonio Volta, proved them that you can mix chemicals, and using zinc plates and copper, you can produce a DC power. These guys, after realizing that since Volta has done its part of invention of the battery, now let us look this power, this electricity, this thunder lightning, which is with a high voltage. No one has ever measured it. We only see its effect, and we know the effects of high voltage. If it touches someone, it burns. If this thunder lightning comes, if it comes to someone, it burns. It means we don't know how much it is in millions of volts. That's how the books say. And the only way to protect people from this lightning arrest, from this lightning thunder, is to start producing the lightning arresters. Lightning arresters, so that they arrest the thunder, then they take it to the ground. And which ground? It goes to the transformer. We shall look at this science behind the lightning, why they do earthing for lightning arresters. And they put on top of the tallest building in the area. So that because that lightning arrester, it targets the tallest thing in the area. That's where it goes. Now they put a thunder arrester, which is a copper, which drives it to the ground. Which ground? It goes back to the transformer. And this power will be seen in the transformer lines or in the three-phase lines. We shall see all this, how they used and how they have captured the thunder, and they are using it as electricity. Okay, yeah, and here comes, let's talk about this guy, Lester Pelton. Today I think we are closing. We shall be talking around with be talking about this physicist, the scientists, as long as we go topic by topic in our studies. Now this guy, Lester Pelton, is the father of hydroelectricity. He's the one who formed the electric wheel to be driven by the water turbines. He's the father of hydroelectricity. He's called Lester Pelton. Because his invention, he took advantage that water has pressure. And who designed the turbine? Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla also designed a turbine, which can be driven by a turbine is like a fan, which can be driven with the pressure of water. And Lester Pelton, he invented the wheels to run the fan. Nikola Tesla invented the turbine, the fan. The wheels, Lester Pelton invented them. So they combined the knowledge, the turbine and the wheels. So water was driving the turbines, the wheels were moving, electricity was produced. Either it was in AC, then DC, then AC, or DC, then AC. And that's the principle of our electricity, how it came in. Then there are some physicists or scientists who came in, who discovered a lot of work in physics work, as we shall see them as we go on with our works. Like we can talk about the Isaac Newton, who discovered the law of gravity, the gravitation force. That was Isaac Newton. At the same time, he discovered the principle of the visible light, the light you can see. An example of rainbow, you can see rainbow lights. That is a light. Those are colors seen by our naked eyes. That experiment was done. The formulas was done by Isaac Newton, and we shall see also his the Newton's law of motions. Yeah, I think let me talk about only on Edison. Can we close this chapter with Edison? Edison, after Alessandro Antonio Volta came in, then Edison also was doing experiments in his laboratory, the physics experiments, for 1,000 times he failed. This guy can inspire a lot. That the consistency and hard work pays with time. He never gave up on doing experiments. And the 1,000th time, he came up with an incandescent light bulb. He was the first person, his house, to light with electricity. Though they have done the battery, but they don't have a bulb. They have done current, they have done voltage, but there is no bulb. This guy, Edison, Thomas Edison, invented the bulb. And that's why we are lighting everywhere, because of Thomas Edison. And his house was the only one house with a bulb, to show that he has invented something great. From the batteries, from the electricity you have talked about, the electricity you have invented, he came up with an incandescent light bulb. And that was the foundation of bulbs or electricity. These guys were so much. And they either used AC or DC. AC is alternative current. DC is direct current. But because DC was a bit cheap, DC was expensive, and it needs a lot of batteries, because battery is a DC power current or power source. It needs a lot of batteries to power a house, or you can't transport it in long distance. Now they came up with the generators or motors, which can produce AC current, both which goes forward and reverse. That is AC alternative current, which goes and comes back, and can be transported for long distance. And that's why we are using alternative current or AC in our houses, because it is easy and cheap to be transported from one place to another than direct current, which is expensive to manufacture and expensive to transport. And this is how we are going to start our electrical lessons officially. After seeing these fundamentals, please, let's start off and we go on with the studies of the technology in electrical, electronics, and solar engineering. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for these engineers. Thank you for the founders and the scientists, the inventors who are giving us what we have. As technology is moving, it is not good for you to be in the technology world without knowing this, or without knowing electrical. Your TV may get a fault, your extension may get a fault, your phone may need some small fixing when you don't know. But all you will find it here, and you will know more of anything. You don't need to pay a penny of money. You take something for repair. Once you're in the physics mindset, we are going to explore everything. The electrical faults, the electronics repair faults, and the solar engineering faults. How to install, how to repair a phone, how to repair a TV, how to repair any electrical, how to repair any solar system, you will find them at Physics Mindset only if you subscribe and like. Thank you so much. See you next time.